up you guys, and welcome to Millennial Fire Kiwi. I'm your host Joe, and today we're going to be breaking the stigma that investing is too hard or out of reach for the average Joe. Investing early is the key to having a comfortable and possibly early retirement. If you found this particular video, then you're part of a very special few who have the chance to be a witness to my creative journey from day one. So before we get into it, I just want to give you a brief intro as to why I've decided to create the channel. For over a decade now, I've wanted to learn video editing, but never really had the motivation to get started. After all, the desire initially came from gaming, and I don't know about you, but when I'm enjoying a great game, the last thing I want to do is to stop and edit some footage. In recent years, my focus has shifted towards securing my financial freedom and building the mentality required to make it happen. During this time, I've discovered some great channels and resources that have helped me self-educate, further develop my financial intelligence, and most importantly, make mistakes so I don't have to repeat them. I've come to realize that there is a huge stigma out there that investing is complicated and out of reach for your average Joe, which is simply not true. It all depends on the approach you want to take and how involved you want to be. So here I find myself. It's 2020 and the world is locked down. What better time to join in on the fun and kill two birds with one stone by finally learning to edit videos while taking you all on a financial journey with me. Hopefully, in taking this time to grow and develop a new skill, I will be able to help you grow and develop one of your own as well. So for this video, I thought, what better place to start than why? Why is saving and then investing such an important part of modern day life? Why is it important to start as young as possible? You will all have heard sayings like, time is money, or it takes money to make money. Both have proven accurate over the test of time, and by the end of this video, you too will understand why. First, I will give you some context to my current situation. I've been what I would consider a moderate saver for most of my life. I'm currently 26 years old, and excluding my very first job, I have consistently saved at minimum 10% of all earnings. There were a few occasions where I did need to redirect the regular contributions, but I've made sure any missed savings were made up for over the next few months. So after saving consistently for over a decade, I've only started to use term deposits in the last 5 years. That mistake alone cost me on average roughly 5% each year. With the power of compounding interest, which is something we'll discuss later in the video, the opportunity missed is even bigger. About a year ago, I started my research into the depths of investment, whether it be stock market, real estate, or other niche ideas for passive income, but had not yet decided on the right opportunity to take the first step. Enter the Rona. Over a matter of weeks, share markets tanked globally. Although the markets are still extremely volatile, I figure what better time to dip my toe in than during the biggest crash since 2008. But to be clear, I have not gone all in hoping to get a quick profit. I do my best to follow sound investing principles, and I'm looking to build a strong portfolio at discount prices that I will hold for many, many years to come. This will allow me to not only reap the rewards of a market recovery, but also any future growth and dividends. Currently, I have invested about half of what I had mentally prepared to invest. The other half is ready and waiting on the chance we see another steep crash. If that doesn't happen, not a worry. I'll simply look to dollar cost average into my preferred shares or funds. But I'll be honest, as with every new investor, I can't help but to have some fun speculating on the side. Personally, I actually use two different brokers. One for my set and forget long-term investments, and the other for my more fun speculative investments. If you do want to know more about why I separate them, which brokers I use, and the psychological benefits from this approach, just drop a comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos, which just might be the content you asked for. Now, enough about me. Let's answer those questions from before. Why is saving and investing important? Well, that one's easy. When you're retired and closing in on 70 years of age, would you rather A, being dependent on a pension and living a minimalist lifestyle just scraping by, or B, having financial freedom and being stress-free while enjoying life's luxuries? Or how about would you rather A, working for every dollar you have, or B, allowing your money to reproduce and live off the sweet, sweet money babies? If you chose A both times, you're probably watching the wrong video. Hopefully you chose B, and if so, I think we're done with the first question. Now, why is time such an important factor? The eighth wonder of the world, that's why. Compounding interest. And who better to convince you than E equals MC squared, bro. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Compounding interest is just a super simple equation that I will put a brief explanation for down below in the description, which just so happens to be right above the link for Sharesies. Now, I will go into more depth about specific brokers in future videos, but if you want to help support this channel getting started and you are not yet a Sharesies member, using the link below to sign up will give you $5 on your new account, and will also top up my wallet with $5, which is a really cool and simple way you guys can show your support for the channel at no extra cost to yourself. So, put simply, compounding interest works like a snowball, gaining interest on your interest. For an example, if you had $100 invested and got a 10% return for the year, now your total investment is $110. Over the next year, if you gain 10% once again, now you will gain $11 rather than last year's gain of $10. Money beginning to reproduce without lifting a finger. I know this may seem insignificant at first, but once applied over many years, the results increase dramatically, which is why time is of the essence. If you then add regular contributions to this, you are simply adding buckets of snow to the snowball so it grows even faster. Despite already knowing a lot of this many years ago, until I sat down, took the time to calculate through all of the potential numbers and theoretical investment plays, I didn't realize quite how much potential gains I've missed out on by procrastinating my investment journey and staying in my comfort zone. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I regret not beginning earlier and why I want to help others realize just how important time really is. All thanks to the 8th wonder of the world. So now you've seen the power of compounding interest, how much difference it can make by starting as young as possible. So what do you need to do to get started? The first step is always the hardest, so if you're not already saving, now is the time to start. However, if you have any high interest loans, clearing those should be your first priority. There is much more value gained in clearing a loan with 15 to 20% interest rates than building savings or investing, in which you would be lucky to gain more than 10% in any given year. Once you've cleared any high interest loans, it is highly advisable to have an emergency fund of around 3 to 6 months of living expenses. As the recent months have shown, income is not always a guarantee, so having a backup kept in a high yield savings account will help to give you peace of mind when there is uncertainty in the economy. Stocks and funds are typically viewed as a long-term investment. If you're going to want the money in the next 5 to 10 years, then you should consider less volatile option. This is why your backup fund is so important. Once you have invested in the stock market, if you then encounter unexpected financial trouble, you have more time to get a new source of income before needing to sell any of your equities. If you ever end up in a tight squeeze where you have to sell your equities to survive, there is a huge risk that you may have to sell them at a loss, at which point you may as well have saved yourself the time, energy and money by leaving your savings in the bank. So with that in mind, clear your loans, build a nest egg of around 3 to 6 months of your living costs, then you are ready to begin investing. In past, there was a much higher barrier of entry into investing, with static fees that were only really a good deal if you were investing $10,000 or more. Whereas now, with new brokers such as Sharesies or Hatch offering low or percentage-based fees, you can start investing with as little as $5. Regardless, I would still recommend only starting once you have built a solid financial foundation. By now you've seen the numbers, you've heard the logic, so from here it's up to you to take the ownership and take your first steps towards financial freedom. If you're still watching at this point, you're the true champ. I hope you've enjoyed and found this helpful. If you do have anything to add, or you think I've got things wrong, I'm very keen to hear about it. Although a large part of making this channel is to help educate others, I'm also making it to help grow my own financial intelligence. So let me know down below if you have any advice for me as well. I have some ideas for my next videos. If there are any topics that you would like me to cover, just let me know and it might just be your lucky day. If you want to see more and join me on this journey to financial freedom, then don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that bell icon so you get notified when the next video drops. Until then, stay safe out there, my financially minded friends. You're the true champ. You're the true champ. You're the true champ. You're the true champ.